You are maturing all the time. And when it comes to feelings, there's nothing wrong with them. And a lot of people on the spiritual journey, on the spiritual path, seek enlightenment or this goal in order to not feel a certain way. And it's a huge trap. It's a big misconception. And it's a good thing to realize that it has to be the opposite. It is your egoic nature to want to run away from the unpleasantness, from what is uncomfortable. And you've just picked up this idea of enlightenment being a very nice state in which you do not feel anything bad anymore, in which the enlightened being no longer has to deal with negative emotions. From a dualistic point of view, they are negative, but there's actually nothing wrong with them. It's good to be aware of both dual and non-dual. Some people get too stuck up on non-duality. Some get stuck or are still in duality. It's good to see both. You see that it is a feeling of a certain nature, that it creates discomfort for the body, even though the body is the one who creates it within itself. But usually an uncomfortable feeling is felt because of resistance, because you are resisting what is happening in the moment, what is happening or what is about to happen. It is either a projection or it comes from the past. There's nothing wrong with having uncomfortable feelings come up. There's nothing wrong with having any trauma or something that triggers you. What is wrong is believing in the resistance, in your reasons, believing that the things that happened in the past are gonna happen again. Because this person said this to me those 5 years ago, this one is gonna do it again, or it's gonna happen again. You're delusional. It's a delusion. Still nothing wrong with it. And if you catch it within yourself, that is awakening. That is you waking up in that moment. Like, huh? I see all my reasons, which create fear. Why do I have the reasons? Obviously, they're coming from there. Sometimes you cannot see where they're coming from. That is just insight which is not needed. What is best is to stop resisting. You don't need to know, oh, this in me is now happening because of this. If you know it, great. If you don't know it, great, because it doesn't matter. What matters is that you see that you are resisting. Rather than focusing on gaining insight, some people get very stuck on wanting to see their past life, wanting to understand better, delve deep into their memory. And it is something that will happen. You will delve into your memory, or things will come up, but not always. And sometimes it's you who's stopping yourself from going deeper. It's just about trust. Once you see that, you can trust, because your mind is gonna fight. You want to go deeper, but as soon as something starts to happen, as soon as something starts to unveil, even though you so wanted it in the moment, the mind switches. Oh, what if I die? What if something happens? What if just doubts come? But doubts are there because there's no trust. Are you able to trust without needing proof first? The way of bhakti or devotion can be scary for the logical mind. But there's nothing to be scared of. What do I mean by that is, can you even with your mind resisting, relax and drop the mind? Because mind resists out of not having trust. Why does it not have trust? Because it's separate. Not the mind. The mind isn't actually separate. the mind identity, which is you, the person, has a very strong conviction that they're separate from the creator, which created this body, created the mind, created the energies. Everything you see has been created by this one. There's nothing wrong, except the mind thinks. The mind entity, you, the person, has a strong conviction that they're separate, and if they trust this thing, which is not a thing, but you can call it whatever you want. You can call it God, you can call it Jah, Shiva, Buddha, Jesus Christ, whatever. Because there is not enough trust in this one, resistance comes when you try to delve actually deep into the feelings, into chronic pains which are there. And there's one thing, once you come across certain thresholds within yourself, you will have no issues crossing them again. Once you learn, once your mind learns or experiences that it can let go, that it can trust, and just go fully into the darkest of places within yourself, that it can go into like deep shadows of your ego, of feelings which had been buried there, which hurt, which really fucking hurt. The thing is, when you go into something which feels like in a distance there's a painful feeling, or something that you know that has been there, or only now you found out because you became more aware of your energy body, of your energies which are there, you start to notice that there's a feeling like a little blob anywhere in the body which feels like stuck energy. Your mind might make many misconceptions about it. Oh, I'm feeling this because that's my chakra, maybe that's good. There's some pressure, maybe that's good. But it's kind of uncomfortable. Or like, I feel pain in the chakra, maybe that's it's being cleared or whatever. No, it is you becoming more aware of that energy. But now something opened up. There's different kind of responses, and there seem to be different feelings of the energy. It might feel stale, it might be burning, it might do all kinds of things. I don't know what all there is. But the thing is, you cannot think about it. This is not something you think about. You cannot look at that feeling with your awareness on that energy and be like, I guess it's this, or like, what if I do this, and then oh yeah, you can experiment with the things and then realize what creates it. But a direct experience tells you exactly, and it's strange. You don't know it mentally. On a surface level, you understand it mentally. If you really go into it, an understanding may come, but mentally you cannot do it. The most understanding about yourself and what is there when it comes to suppressed feelings or some deep sensations within the body, buried trauma, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be trauma. It can be just you resisting something, you being annoyed at something. It can be suppressed anger, or it doesn't have to be suppressed anger. It can be just anything that is a sensation. You cannot think yourself out of it. It just feels like you can think yourself out of it, because you start thinking, you realize that you have many things you do which are an actual hindrance. Until now, things felt, or maybe they still feel, like they make you feel nice. Or it makes me feel nice when I go smoke every day. It makes me feel nice when I drink, it makes me feel better when I take my pills. It's all of it is suppression on unconscious levels. Mind sees nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it either, but it is not healing. It is just more suppressing, and it's your decision. Once you become conscious of it, it's up to you to make a conscious choice. Either you keep it up while now having an understanding that there is something which is in you, which is scary and painful, and your habits are just there to hide it, to take the awareness from it, the attention, to go elsewhere. Because where your attention goes, that's where your power goes too. And if your attention touches your suppressed emotions, if it touches these energies, they intensify. That's why it's so scary at first. Because you notice this pain, you notice why it's there, or that it's just there. Then you see that you keep distracting yourself from it in any way, pills, whatever, you want to watch something, or that every day you just, or it could be any kind of habit addiction. It's up to you. But there is just resistance. Once you become conscious of that, what to do? Just sit. Sit down and put your attention on it. And you will learn a lot about yourself. It's not that it's being that you cannot do it or something like that. Because I had people, or people usually, like it's very obvious what the mind does. You put the attention there and it intensifies. And your idea is that you want to heal it. But healing means that you are gonna hurt less. So why, when you try to do it this way, it hurts more? Why does it intensify when I'm trying to get rid of it? Is usually what kind of feels in the mind. And that's when the trust comes in. If you don't trust it, you cannot go through it. And that pain will intensify. Your feelings will, the discomfort will increase greatly. Majority of people, if you try to sit them down, and if you get them to a point where they sit, now focus on the feeling and don't resist it, they would immediately be in great pain. They would just run away. You would be the scariest person to them, because it's so unusual to want someone to basically feel their pain. We are taught to run away from it. We're not taught to go into the pain. And even when you're not taught, the mind does it itself. The mind protects itself. It is a defensive mechanism. It is designed, the ego is designed to survive. I nicely heard someone say that we needed this in the past to survive. We needed this ego, this one fighting for survival, this one evading what's hurtful and all those kind of things to survive. For humanity to survive, it was evolution. But it's not who you are. And it's not something that you need to take yourself to be in order to survive. But once you get close to anything, this one is gonna be like, oh, this is a big feeling. This is a big sensation. We don't know what's happening. Or like it says, I don't know what's happening. Am I dying? If I go through this, I feel like something is gonna snap. Something is gonna break. And if something breaks, that's death. And I don't wanna die. Resistance is created. Body goes, and you fight it. So even, it goes for both. Even if the nicest feeling comes, you might get very scared of it. If really like way too strong ecstasy comes, the mind reacts. If it's in resistance and haven't dropped into this let go truly, then it's gonna be scared. Because what if this nice feeling is something else? What if this nice feeling never goes away? I'm gonna go insane if I feel too nice. And it goes the same way for discomfort. The mind wants comfort. It wants to stay, make things stay and make them work. How it would be in its own frame. And every person has a different frame of how life should be and how they would like it to go. And then they suffer when it doesn't. And it's so simple. It's just an idea which controls everything about you. Because you want it this way. And you want it that way. And you don't want it like this. And then you feel like this, and why did it happen to me? I'm a good person, or why is it happening to me, and what about me, and what's gonna be with me? And it's just me, I. That is controlling your whole life. But then don't get the idea of that you're gonna get enlightened, and you're just gonna know. You get enlightened, and because then again, the mind just traps you again. Oh, what am I gonna do when I enlighten? When I awaken, I'm gonna do this, and life is gonna be so much better. It's just so stupid. Don't do it. If you notice these thoughts, don't go with them. It's just a trap. If you are in this, it got you again. When I awaken, I'm gonna blah blah blah. Just anything. It's just a trap. I just wanted to talk a little about this. I had no idea what I talked about. I had no idea what I was about to talk about. I just spoke. Just stick to putting your attention on your feelings and trusting that you can let go. What does it mean to let go? How do I do it? Exactly. That's what the mind says. How do I do it? Just don't listen to him. Just, how do you do it? By not doing anything. Because it's not a doing. It's not like you're holding a pen and then you drop it. You have a sense of doership. That you are the one who is holding the pen, and you open your palm and you drop it. Okay? Let me explain it better. Let's see how I can explain it. It's not in the doership. Because, like, if you're holding a pen, you have the sense of, I am holding pen, I am holding this pen, and if I want to let go, I open my hand, and I drop it. And then there is this, you hear me or someone else say, just let it go, just drop it. And many people are like, how do I drop it? And saying, just drop yourself has not seemed to be very efficient to many people. So the one saying, how do I drop it, is the one that's holding on. Just focus on that. And when you focus on the one that's holding on, also saying, how do I drop it then? Because I just cannot. It keeps coming back and back. It keeps coming back for the one who's also asking, how do I drop it? It's such a joke. It's such a joke. Just don't, it's difficult to say, just don't engage, just don't have any more desire to keep feeding into that one, into the one that's having commentary about it. Just sit, attention on the feeling, relax. Just relaxed, keep attention. Notice that thoughts are talking. What am I to do? How do I let this go? How do I get rid of this? It doesn't matter what the thoughts say. they are useless. It's like you wanting to drink a glass of milk with a fork. It's a bad analogy because you can still do it, but with the mind, you're not gonna do it. It's useless, okay? It's just useless. You're using a wrong tool for this thing. Because so far you've been taught that by thinking, analyzing, working, using the mind is efficient, it's helpful, it works, yes, but it does not work for letting things go. And going back to the whole thing, once the mind drops, the feelings can be healed. Because the feelings are there for a reason. Who has the reason? The mind. I'm angry because. I want to get rid of this because. I don't like this because. What if this happened? He's gonna do it again. She hurt me like this. I'm a victim. This pisses me off. Today is a bad weather. Fuck everything. Any kind of reasoning or any kind of story creates the feeling. There's nothing wrong with feeling the feelings or with having them. The body is designed to create the feelings, but it's a defect. It's a mental diarrhea. If it happens unconsciously, if you just have this habit of being annoyed at the weather, if you have this habit of or this story of I'm a victim, she hurt me, he hurt me. That's what keeps refeeding the feeling. So once you let go of using the mind, the tool in that moment, all the attention can stay on the feeling better. And you don't need more. Then you just trust this. That's it. Don't search for a conclusion. If your mind says, then what? Or like, okay, then like, what happens after? Or like, no. Don't search for a conclusion. That's, again, just more nonsense. Try to trust it. It's just a little play. Just try it out. Like an experiment. But commit to it. You want your conclusions too fast. So if you've listened to my past videos and you've been trying or tried and then gave up, do it again. Keep letting go and bringing that focus on any kind of feeling that comes up. If there's none, then do it in the moment. Do it when you get angry. Do it when you get sad. Do it when you get happy. There's nothing wrong. If you get happy, it's not that you're like, blocking it out, trying to block out the happiness. If you're sad, it's not like, I'm trying to get rid of it. You're not getting rid of it. You're just going into the feeling. But usually, if it's negative, you don't want to go into it. And usually the negative stuff comes out of, not that it's created in the moment, I said that before. It's usually created a long time ago, but it keeps being triggered in small doses to just feed itself. Start noticing the triggers, being more aware, even the smallest ones. Be relentless, be fucking ruthless in this, but not hard on yourself, but intensely pay attention to what's happening inside. And it's possible. I had people tell me, but then I need to focus on my work, or I need to focus on what's happening. I can't do this. I can't just meditate in the middle of conversation. You're not meditating. Your idea of meditation is that you cross your arms and then close your eyes, whatever. No. It's just being attentive. Just pay attention. I think that's enough. Thank you. Bye-bye.